Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Tuplex. So I'm down here in the acid area. I put some Nixie tubes on there so that we can measure how much we have. The reason I want to build up more acid is so that we can do nuclear fuel and get started on that. I did upgrade all the iron mining to red belts and all the iron smelting to red belts, and all the copper smelting is upgraded to red belts as well. I have not upgraded copper mining yet to red belt because we really don't need it right now. But I did upgrade the bus. So from the mining or from the smelting through the bus is all upgraded to red belts. But if this starts running at full speed, then we won't be able to feed iron fast enough until I upgrade that. But for now, we're in good shape. I also added a little machine over here to make landfill from stone. I don't have a particular use for it right now, but I'm sure at some point we're going to need lots of landfill. So I like to start filling up a chest or two with it as soon as I can. Let's see. I think that's about it. Also, since in between episodes, I installed a couple more mods, actually 3 more mods. One of them is called Blueprintable Trains, which allows you to copy trains using a blueprint, which will help for our train deployments. I'm expecting to have a lot of somewhat large trains, so I think that'll make it easier to do. It'll also copy the train schedule and whatever kind of fuel you had in it. So as an example, with that mod going, I should be able. Oh no, you have to. I think you have to press Shift. Yeah, if you hold Shift when you release the button, then you'll get a blueprint that includes the train as well as the rail that's underneath it. All right, so that'll come in handy for getting new trains deployed. The other thing that I installed is a mod called Charcoal Burner, which I've never used before, but I wanted to give it a try because, we had talked, or I had talked before about wanting to have something to do with all the wood that we're going to be picking up in the game. So this is a mod that allows you to create charcoal from raw wood. And essentially what it does is it gives you coal, and it also gives you creosote oil as a byproduct. And then you can use the creosote oil to create solid fuel. You can use it to create improved wood panels if you need those for anything. I mean, in this game, we're not going to use them really, although if you were playing with Bob's mods, you would need a lot of them for circuits. And then we have coal coke burning, so you can turn coal into solid fuel and creosote oil. So it gives you some interesting options for making use of wood and coal. And then this antiseptic, this is something that you can make to heal yourself. It works the same way as fish do in the game. If you drop a fish on yourself, you'll eat the fish and gain health back. But again, I won't be using that because I don't have biters. So if I get any reduction in health, it'll be because I got run over by a train, and I'm not going to survive it anyway. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and research that. I think that's the only research that goes along with that mod. So we'll start researching that. And then the other mod that I'm going to be using is one called Nuclear Fuel. And nuclear fuel kind of changes the way that the uranium fuel cells work. So it replaces Covarex enrichment with a different type of a process. So the main change here is that when you reprocess your old used up fuel cells, you have a 25% chance to get a piece of plutonium. And then you can use the plutonium to make plutonium fuel cells. And then you can also do plutonium reprocessing, which will give you more plutonium and a 50% chance to get more uranium-235. Okay, so this is, well, and you can see here, you use 1 plutonium to get 10 plutonium fuel cells, and then that'll turn back into 2 plutonium plus a chance to get more uranium. So this is a way that you can kind of multiply your uranium quantities without doing the Covarex enrichment process. And then Covarex enrichment is replaced with this thing called MOX fuel, which is essentially a more efficient way to make uranium fuel cells. So this way you can make 10 uranium fuel cells from 1 plutonium and 9 uranium-238. Whereas the normal recipe is 1 uranium-235 and 19 uranium-238. So you can still get some efficiency improvements and ways to make lots and lots of fuel cells. But in any case, to get started, we need to start mining uranium, and for that we need sulfuric acid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into, just to get an idea of how much sulfuric acid I'm going to need for mining. I'm thinking that we can probably start over here. There's a uranium patch within all those trees there. So in fact, let's call this uranium 1. So I'm going to label it with a number 1. So we'll put our first uranium mine over there. So let's say we get 15 or 20 mining drills on there. In fact, we might even be able to estimate here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we might get 20 mining drills on there. So let's see how much acid we would need for 20 mining drills, if I can. Add a recipe. I don't think I can put mining recipes in here, can I? Oh, yeah, I can. Awesome. Okay, so if we compute by factory, and I put in 20 factories, that'll give me 6 uranium per second. Somehow this says 21 now instead of 20. I'm going to need 5.3 sulfuric acid per second to run that. So I can do that with 1 machine making acid and 1 machine making sulfur, which is what I already have. Okay, so I should have enough acid production already to satisfy my needs there. All right, so I'm going to start by picking up this this temporary battery and bot units that I had there. And I would like to bring down iron plate so that we don't have to keep filling up the box. I'll go ahead and fill that up right now. And then we can pick this up as well. All right. So I think I can just split off a belt from here to bring down some iron plate. Oops. So I'll just leave a little bit of space there. And I'll just split off of this one right here. I'm going to use a red splitter so that we don't reduce the throughput of that belt. And then I'll just use yellow belts afterwards because we don't need too much of it. How much iron plate? Yeah, 0.2 iron plate per second. So that's one yellow belt is far more than enough to provide that. Okay, And then we'll need to get the acid put on a train as well, because we're going to have to take it up there by train. So I can probably extend this. I can extend this rail over here so that we can get a train station put up here. So let's do that first, and then we'll work on getting the mining set up. And then once we have the mining set up, we can start getting the uranium out. We can start doing some processing. I'll have to build some centrifuges. For the centrifuges, I need concrete, which we're not making yet. So there's going to be a few steps to all this before we get done. It might take us 2 or 3 episodes to get nuclear completely up and running. All right, I'll just drive manually for now. Fortunately, I don't really have any train traffic to worry about. Once the trains start running regularly, then I'm going to avoid driving the trains manually, because I always end up crashing. You've seen how I drive the car, so you can probably imagine that my train skills are not much better. All right. Yeah, so let me get my train book. So we'll do more 2-lane track here. And I wonder if I should make this a 2-way. And by that, I mean be able to enter this coal station from both sides. Yeah, let's do that, and then I'll make a blueprint of that, because I'm probably going to need to use that configuration in the future as well, going from 2 to a single. All right, so I think I need chain signals on both sides. All right, well, I'll have to look at this one rail at a time, as I normally do. Okay, so if the train is coming this way, I want a chain signal there, and I want a chain signal there. If we're going in, then we need a chain signal there. Okay, so it's not liking this. But this piece of track needs to go in 2 directions. Or maybe it needs to be a little bit lower. Okay, that doesn't seem to matter. All right, well, let's get the rest of the signals put in. Or maybe that needs to be... Nope. Doesn't like that either. Okay, I'll come back to that. All right, so this would be an exit. So on the exit, I would want a chain signal there. And one there. This is an entrance. So I don't bother with, well, I do want a chain signal before we go in. And if that is blocked, yeah, I'll put another one right there also. Okay, and then we need to reconnect this to power. Okay, so none of the lights are blinking now, which means that that should be set up properly. All right, so let me get a blueprint of that. And I'll just do it like from here, where the lights are, over to where they are on the other side, and then up to there. Okay, and we'll call this two-lane to two-way junction. Okay, and then I'll add that to my rail book. And then I'll make a new blueprint to go back there. All right. So back to work. That's the wrong one. There we go. Let me turn my roboports on so the bots can help here too. Yeah, fortunately I have just enough space to get past this iron patch. Okay, is that going to be far enough? No, let's go a little bit further. I'll go one more section after this. That should be far enough that I can get up there with the train station. I'll be happy when I can get my bots faster. All right. Okay. So right here would probably be a good place for the station, like in between these two posts. So let me clear out the trees so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. And then I should be able to put that right on top there. Okay. And in this case, I don't need that power pole because I already have power. Okay. And I just barely don't have enough room to back up far enough to get in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a U-turn here. So we do that by nope. I need to go up like one more segment. Believe it or not, it's not easy to make a completely symmetrical U-turn. That's not symmetrical. Okay, that part looks good. I've got one, yeah. Let's try this again. Right, and then one, okay. Two straight sections. 1, 2. That should be symmetrical. Close enough. All right, let me get in the front. Otherwise, I'm just going to mess it up. Okay, so now I should be able to turn right. There we go. Okay. So we'll put that there. So I'm going to put a LTN stop. I'll make 3 of them because I'm going to need a couple more for the uranium as well. Okay, and we'll call this main acid. Okay. Now over here we're going to be doing 111. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to be doing 121 trains. Okay, I'm going to have to go and pick up the train parts. I'll just put the train there now so that it'll make it easier to align everything. All right, so there's 1, 2. And then here we go, tank wagons. I'll need 2 of those. And I'll grab a couple of tanks as well. 4, because I'm going to need 2 on each end. Since I'm going to have 2 cars, I want to have at least 2 tanks to load and unload. Okay, yeah, let me get rid of the excess wood that I'm carrying. And at some point in the near future, we'll start to use that up and convert it to coal, which we have more uses for. And solid fuel. And then we can use the solid fuel to power the trains. And later we can turn it into rocket fuel as well. Okay. All right, so that train's going to go there. Then we'll have 2 of those, and then we'll have another one going the opposite direction. Give it a little coal to get started. All right, so now I'm going to send this back to my station. Oh, nice. I don't recall seeing that achievement before. All right, and then, yeah, what I'd like to do is have at least 1 pump. Where are my pumps? Okay, I thought I had some. Let's go ahead and start crafting some. There we go. Yeah, so we have to make sure that these are lined up with at least one of these yellow squares. So I'll just line these up there in the middle. We'll put the lights in the usual place. And then I'm going to have to create a depot for the oil trains. Now, LTN is smart enough to know that it's smart enough to know to send a tanker car when you need a fluid. So we won't have to do anything special with that necessarily. Okay, and then we will put our storage tanks. All right, let me try something here. If I move that down 1 and I put that there, if I move that down 1, yeah, this is gonna be better. because then we can have these two tanks joined together, and we don't have to have a pipe in between them to split things. All right, and then I'm going to put a pump there from our production tank, and I'm going to pipe it over to the storage tanks. All right, and then I'm going to put some Nixie tubes. I just need 5. I probably should have kept that one that I had before. That way we can monitor how much is in here. That's not a good place for it. It's hard to see. That's better. Okay, so we hook those two up, and then we bring that up here. That's going to connect over there. We're going to tell this to monitor acid. Oh, okay. And the number is going to 0 because it's loading the train. Let me try putting another pipe there. Okay. Right, so the contents of the tank are going down because the train itself is filling up. So I think I'll make the first trip manually so I don't lose the acid. Okay, and then I'm going to need a combinator so I can give it its instructions. And I think I can connect. I'm not sure if I can connect to the inventory signal from there, so I'll bring it over here. Okay. So that'll tell me how much acid we have here. All right, and then here, I want the number of trains to be 1, as usual. We can say maximum train length is 4, although it's probably not necessary because the only 4-length trains we're going to have are going to be the fluid wagons. And I think that's about all that we need. Okay. So this will be now a provider station for sulfuric acid. All right. So the next step is going to be to extend a rail line up to the uranium patch. And then at the uranium patch, I'll have 2 stations. One will be to unload acid, and the other one will be to load the uranium ore. And we'll start working on that in the next episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.